Okay, guys, we're starting a new notes page in your sketchbook. So you've got a brand new blank page. Put value up at the top, underline it. So this notes page is going to be graded, and we're going to have something over here. So I've put this line here for a reason. So we'll go back to that in a minute. So I'm only using the left-hand side right now. Value is the range from light to dark. That's the definition. So get that down. We think of it, I put in parentheses shading because that's what we normally think of. Value is shading, it's adding lightness and darkness. Value can be used for emphasis. Emphasis is to draw attention. So for example, if I put a bunch of arrows here pointing at emphasis, I've just emphasized it. Value can get people's attention. Silhouettes can catch attention for difference in value. Here, I'm going to put a couple silhouettes here to show you. So we tend to pay attention to light areas, maybe more than dark areas. They tend to catch our attention. So I've got a face over here. And if I shade this face in black, good and solid. This is silhouette. Silhouette is when you have your space, your object, what we will learn is called positive space, and your negative space are totally opposite in value. Now over here, I'll do the reverse. Put my face in. But instead, I'm going to shade the empty negative space. So get these in your notes. Dark on light. Light on dark. A couple of silhouettes to show a difference. Our eyes tend to go straight to the white area. I notice the light area, I notice the white area first. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do with value is a value scale. And over here I've created a line that is 8 inches long. And if you have a ruler, you can make a line that's 8 inches long. If you don't have a ruler at home, you can't get access to a ruler, just use a straight edge and try to make it roughly about this size. So I'm going to go about 2 inches horizontally. Again, I'm not really concerned if it's exactly 2 inches. If you don't have a ruler, just kind of make your best guess. Okay, I'm going to divide this up by 1 inch increments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You need marks on both sides. Anytime you're drawing a straight line, make a mark on both sides, otherwise it's never going to be straight. Okay, so go ahead and label this thing at the top. Value scale. This is going to be light. This is going to be dark. This is a shading exercise, and there's a couple things I'm looking for on this. First off, I want you to try to stay in the lines as much as possible. So I want even steps between light and dark. This should be completely perfectly white. This should be as close to black as you can get with your drawing pencil. And then we're going to have even steps from black to white. So when you start, down here, you can start making it as dark as possible. One thing that I would recommend is don't do the darks first, because it's always easier to make something darker and it's a lot harder to make something lighter. To make something lighter, you have to erase. To make it darker, you just shade some more. When you're shading, use the side of your pencil. That's why mechanical pencils are not good for shading. And for this one, since it's supposed to be as dark as I can make it, I'm using a lot of pressure and I'm going over and over and over it again in the same location. Now I'm not going to fill this entire value scale in. That is something you can do on your own, but I'm going to give you a few examples here. So this is going to be pure white. This is just going to be barely shaded. Use no pressure at all on the pencil. Just kind of drag it back and forth really, really, really lightly, like you're barely dragging it. No pressure at all. And you might turn the paper different ways to get the edges. And then if you have some paper towel, you can even just use your finger to kind of blend a little bit here and just kind of blend that shading in. You should just barely be able to tell that's shaded. It's not even really showing up on my camera, but that's okay. I can see it with my eye. It's just barely shaded. You have to make sure this is really, really light, and then this next one is just going to be one shade darker. So just a tiny bit darker. And you can kind of go over the same area a little bit longer on this one to get that, to build up that value. That's a term we'll use a lot. You know, value, you build it up. You start light, you build up your darks. It's always better to work from light to dark. There's tons of reasons why it's better, trust me. Always better to work from light to dark. Okay, so I've got my first 3 steps. You can see it's slowly getting darker. I'm going to show you this one here. This is student work from last year. Okay, this is what we're going to get to next. This is actually student work. This is not, I didn't do this, Mr. Kessler didn't do this. This is student's work. So it is possible. There is a value scale. That's what we're looking for. Smooth change. Each individual step you can see is a new individual step. Don't even worry about that yet. Just focus on this. Okay, so value scale, that's the first thing, and we'll come back and work on the sphere on another day.